In a case that has gripped not only the military community, but also the entire nation, a U.S. Army soldier has been charged with horrific crimes connected to the disappearance of his pregnant wife, who authorities now presume deceased. The tragedy surrounding the life of Mischa Mabeline Kaalohilani Johnson, merely 19 years old and 6 months pregnant at the time of her last sighting on July 31st, 2024, has left family members and friends bereft, searching for answers in a sea of confusion and grief. The Army's Office of Special Trial Counsel has formally referred Private First Class Dewayne Arthur Johnson II on 5 separate charges and 19 specifications regarding his wife's shocking disappearance. The charges are grave, murder, intentional killing of an unborn child, obstruction of justice, and the horrifying possession and production of child pornography. Today, we delve deeper into this case, unraveling the events that led up to this devastating moment and examining the local crime context that surrounds it. Mischa Johnson was last seen in her home at Schofield Barracks in Oahu, Hawaii. Reports indicate that she was a vibrant young woman and a devoted mother-to-be who tragically faded into the shadows after July 31st. In the days following her disappearance, her husband Dewayne was apprehended less than 24 hours later, initially facing lesser charges related to false official statements and obstruction of justice. Dewayne, 28 at the time, had enlisted in the Army in late 2022 and was stationed with the 25th Infantry Division, following his roots as a cavalry scout from Frederick, Maryland. As more information surfaced, the gravity of the situation began to dawn on everyone connected to this tragedy. Mischa's family waited anxiously for more than 6 months as the investigation unfolded, desperately seeking justice for their beloved daughter and sister. In a heart-wrenching statement to the media, Mischa's sister Mariana Tapas expressed her emotions, saying, "I feel betrayed because we accepted him right into our family." Those words encapsulate the feelings of betrayal and confusion that permeate this case. After the referral of charges, there was a palpable sense of relief from her family, yearning for justice but grappling with the reality that Mischa's body has not been discovered. "We have no control over these things, right? So we're finally glad that the day is finally here," Mariana added, shedding light on the family's plight. This story resonates deeply within the local community, highlighting the harrowing reality of domestic violence and the loss of potential life that many fear is becoming all too common. The sorrow is deepened by the fact that Mischa's disappearance occurred in an area where military families reside, an environment that many assume is protective yet, in this case, has been anything but. Eyewitness accounts suggest Mischa's disappearance was out of character, with neighbors describing her as a friendly woman who would always lend a helping hand. The local community has rallied behind the Johnson family, sharing flyers and putting up social media posts that spark urgency and raise awareness. But beyond the community outcry, law enforcement faces immense challenges in piecing together the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. So much of this investigation hinges on finding evidence, which in this instance is frighteningly absent. Searching for accountability, they issued a public reminder that Mischa's family can bring forth tips that might lead to a breakthrough. The Department of the Army continues to solicit information from the public, promising a reward that once stood at $10,000 for those who might have answers. The search for justice enters a new chapter as attorneys weigh in with their predictions and legal strategies. Megan Kao, a prominent defense attorney in Hawaii, noted the uphill battle that authorities face, particularly regarding the murder charge given that a body has yet to be recovered. "Child pornography, it's either on your device or it's not," she explained, illustrating the challenge of a murder case without physical evidence. The severity of the charges combined with the tragic circumstances creates a perfect storm of emotions, leading to community conversations about justice, prevention, and the future of military families grappling with domestic violence. In the face of such adversity, there are ongoing discussions on policy and prevention. Local lawmakers are being called to action to address the dire realities of domestic violence within military communities. Advocates stress the importance of creating a supportive environment for victims who may feel trapped or intimidated by their partner's military status. Mischa's heart-wrenching case should provoke a re-examination of programs aimed at supporting military families, illustrating the need for more robust support systems to prevent domestic violence before it escalates to such tragic extremes. As we venture deeper, we are reminded that Mischa was more than just a name. She was a young woman with dreams, expectations, and a future that was cruelly taken away from her. Family members recount her unyielding spirit, her laughter, and the joy she expressed when discussing her unborn child. The emotional toll runs deep, and the family stands united in their quest for justice, hopeful that their voices will resonate in court and beyond. Community members, too, express the heavy heart that comes with knowing such violence exists among those who serve the country. Conversations about safety and responsibility echo strongly across the community, spurring calls for changes in how cases of domestic violence and abuse are handled within military families. As Mischa's sister remarked, "If we can't have Mischa, the least that we can do is make sure that man stays in jail," a statement that captures the desperate hope for accountability. Another step toward healing in a fractured community. As this gripping case unfolds, the eyes of justice will remain fixed on the courtroom as we anticipate the next steps in the legal proceedings. Dewayne Johnson is expected to face a military judge in upcoming hearings as the Army's legal system gears up for what promises to be a challenging trial. Mischa's family stands poised to be present, each hearing inching them closer to the closure they desperately seek. The core of this tragedy is wrapped in layers of legal complexities and heartbreaking realities. Behind all the statistics and procedural conversations, there lingers a fundamental truth: Mischa's absence leaves a void that cannot be filled. As the day of reckoning approaches, the community continues to rally around her family, their calls for justice resonating louder than ever before. Will the trial provide answers, or will it further reveal the deep undercurrents of pain that unravel within military families? The echoes of Mischa's story will undoubtedly reverberate in the hearts of those who knew her, those who carry her memory forward as they search for strength and resilience. The fate of Private First Class Dewayne Arthur Johnson II rests in the balance as we await the unfolding of this tragic narrative in a courtroom that symbolizes the hope for justice. In closing, today's events commemorate Mischa's life and the lives affected by her brutal disappearance. While the road ahead may be fraught with challenges, it is imperative that her story is honored and remembered by advocating for change and support for those who find themselves ensnared in loving yet dangerous relationships. Mischa Mabeline Kaalohilani Johnson's light may have been extinguished too soon, but her memory will live on in the ongoing fight against domestic violence, ensuring that no one else has to endure the heartbreak that her family grapples with daily. The call for justice echoes, pressing relentlessly onward, one step at a time in pursuit of justice, truth, and the hope of a better future for victims everywhere. As we keep our eyes on this case and the many questions that linger unanswered, we also extend thoughts and prayers to Mischa's family, offering our collective support in their darkest hour. May they find peace, strength, and resolve in what lies ahead.